Students secondary one in our first session. Today we are talking about chapter one, lesson one, which is talking about chemical structure of living organisms. We are talking about this chapter about the polymers, and we're talking about the big structures or macromolecules that found inside your body. First of all, before we begin this part, I want to memorize quickly that the system consists of group of what? Yes, super organs, and organs group of what? Tissue, and tissue group of what? Cells. And inside the cell there are many organelles, many small bodies that swim inside the cell. And these cells are made up of small molecules, and these molecules may be organic or may be inorganic. So here, guys, we are talking about the organic molecules that found inside the cell and inorganic molecules that found inside the cell. What is the difference between organic and inorganic? Do you know? Yes. Today we are talking about the organic and inorganic molecules found inside the cell. Organic means that it contains carbon and hydrogen atom. So any molecules that contain carbon and hydrogen is called organic. So it's okay. For example, carbon dioxide is organic? No, as it not contain carbon and hydrogen. So it must contain carbon and hydrogen atoms. So any organic molecules contain carbon and hydrogen atoms, okay? Like what? Like carbohydrates in our body, like lipids in our body, like proteins in our body, like nucleic acid. So we have four molecules found inside the cell and they are organic. They are made up of carbon and made up of hydrogen. So we have carbohydrates, which contain carbon and hydrogen, found inside the cell, which are molecules found inside the cell. We have lipids that found also inside the cell and they contain carbon and hydrogen. We have also proteins, which contain carbon and hydrogen, and we have also nucleic acid. But the inorganic inside the living organisms or inside the cell, like what? Like water, found inside the cell, and they are inorganic. Why they are inorganic? Because they contain carbon and hydrogen, as water H2O have hydrogen only, contain carbon and hydrogen. Both of them do not contain. Like salt NaCl don't contain carbon and hydrogen, and also carbon dioxide contain carbon only and not contain hydrogen. So anything that contains carbon only or hydrogen only is inorganic, but it must contain carbon and hydrogen. Also, the main difference between organic and inorganic, the organic molecules, they are big molecules, carbohydrates, lipids, protein, nucleic acid, they are big molecules found inside the cell. So they are called biological macromolecules. They are big in size, so they are called biological macromolecules. But inorganic molecules, they are just one molecule, so they are small in size. So the second difference between organic and inorganic, they are big or they are macromolecules, but here they are only small molecules. So the first difference here between organic and inorganic, the organic here contain carbon and hydrogen. They are biological macromolecules, but inorganic here is cannot contain carbon and hydrogen, and they are small in size. So here we are some of the two difference between organic and inorganic. The organic large molecules and contain carbon and hydrogen and may contain oxygen and nitrogen. They are biological macromolecules and they are four inside the cell, which are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acid. But inorganic, here don't contain carbon and hydrogen like water, like mineral salts, and so on. It's okay. They are biological macromolecules, yes, which are four: protein, carbohydrates, lipids, and nucleic acid. There are four macromolecules, and each one we are talking about it. We will take each one in each lesson, inshallah. So here, biological macromolecules or have another name which is called polymer. called what? Polymer. So here polymer consists of a small unit which is monomer. That means biological macromolecules, they are polymer, big molecules, consist of small units which is called monomers. So here, all carbohydrates, or lipids, or proteins, or nucleic acids, they are big molecules or macromolecules, consist of small units which is called monomer. Monomer, that means they are small units that connected together by process which is called polymerization. So we form here polymer. So the monomer connected together by polymerization to form polymer or large molecule. And this process called polymerization. So polymerization here means it is a process which we need the monomer to connect it together to form big molecules, or to form macromolecules, or to form polymers. It's okay. It's called polymerization. Now we're talking about the first polymer, which is carbohydrates. What are the carbohydrates? The carbohydrates, one of the polymers that we are talking about, as we have four polymers here, which are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. It's okay. The carbohydrates, lipids, protein, and the nucleic acid. Carbohydrates, the one of the polymer or biological macromolecules that we are talking about, organic. They are organic biological macromolecules that contain carbon and hydrogen. It's a monomer. Its monomer is called monosaccharide. So it have monomer. It's called monosaccharide. Okay, so here carbohydrates made up of a small monomer which is called monosaccharide. Their atoms that must contain, it's organic, so it must contain carbon and hydrogen, and also contain oxygen. So it contains what? Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atom. It's okay. The glucose is one of the carbohydrates that's found in our body. Okay, so here the monosaccharide is the monomer of carbohydrates, and like what carbohydrates in our body, like sugar, like fibers, like starches, and these like glucose, and their atoms consist of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, with the ratio 1 to 2 to 1. Like when we write C6 glucose, we must write hydrogen 12 and O6. That means the ratio between carbon and hydrogen and oxygen 1 to 2 to 1. And their chemical formula is CnH2nOn. That means the ratio here 1 to 2 to 1. Must be concentrated that the ratio between carbon, hydrogen, oxygen 1 to 2 to 1. If you ask you the ratio between carbon and oxygen and hydrogen, that means here it will be 1 to 1 to 2, as here according to the arrangement carbon HO 1 to 2 to 1. If I said COH, it will be 1 1 2. The carbohydrates are classified in two types according to their structure, into simple sugar and complex sugar. What is the simple sugar and what is the complex sugar? We are talking here, inshallah, about them. Simple sugar, that means its simple structure consists of only maybe one molecule or two. So it's maybe a monosaccharide consists of one molecule, or two, which is called disaccharide. And the other type of carbohydrates that classified is called complex sugar. And the complex sugar here means it consists of many molecules, so they are complex in structure. Let's start the simple sugar. Like what, Ms. Dua? Like simple sugar, like which are monosaccharide and disaccharide. They have properties of simple sugar. Like what? What is the properties of simple sugar? They are soluble in water. If we get the sugar or glucose in water, they are soluble. Yes. Opposite to the starch, which is a complex sugar, and they are insoluble in water. Simple sugar have a low molecular weight, like glucose or sugar have a low molecular weight, but when we get starch, it have a high molecular weight. If we get sugar and want to taste it, it will have a sweet taste. But if we want to get starch, it will not have a sweet taste. The difference between monosaccharide and disaccharide. Both of them are simple as contain one molecule here, and disaccharide contain two molecules here. One molecule here consists of 3 to 6 carbon maximum, and they are simplest type of sugar, and like glucose, which found in grapes, and fructose, which found in fruits. Both of them here the same first letter. And ribose is a 5 carbon atom, and the galactose found in the glands that produce milk for mommies, and that produce milk for moms to feed their babies. So here, both of glucose and the fructose and the galactose are 6 carbon atom, except the ribose, which is 5 carbon atom. Disaccharide here consists of two molecules are connected together, which are two monosaccharides which connect together, like lactose, maltose, sucrose are connected together. As maltose found in malt sugar, and they composed of glucose and glucose. So two monosaccharides here are connected together. So disaccharides are connected of two monosaccharides, and lactose consists of glucose and galactose, and sucrose consists of glucose and fructose. So main here sugar that found in the disaccharide is glucose. So here the glucose is the main component to form disaccharide, and the other product is differentiate between disaccharide to another disaccharide. Here, complex sugar مزدوعة, we have properties insoluble, high molecular weight, don't have sweetness, but there are many monosaccharides, they are polymers, they have many molecules connected together, like starch that found in the plant. You know that the plant store its food in form of starch. Also cellulose, the cellulose found in the cell wall of the plant, and the cell wall of the plant made up of cellulose, and they are complex sugar. Also glycogen, you know that the liver store your food, extra of glucose and extra of carbohydrates that you eat in form of glycogen inside the liver, and inside the liver and muscle is in form of glycogen. Here also consists of glucose, starch, and cellulose and the glycogen. All of them consist of many molecules of glucose that are linked together. So here they are a form of complex sugar. There are many molecules, glucose, forming polysaccharide, or forming complex sugar, or forming carbohydrates. Here we are talking about the importance of carbohydrates. It store energy for the body, and it store energy inside the plant in form of starch, and store energy or store food for human and animal in form of glycogen inside the muscle and liver, as we talked before. And also it's a source of energy, and it's a fast source of energy. If we need energy, the body first come to the carbohydrates to get energy. Also it's found to build the cell. Yes, it found to build the cell, as it found in the cell wall of the plant cell, which is structure made up of cellulose, which is a complex sugar, and also carbohydrates found in the plasma membrane, which is a second membrane found inside the cell. We can do practical activity inside the lab, inshallah, about the Bendix reagents and how the Bendix reagent can use it to differentiate if we have a simple sugar or not. The Bendix reagent is one of chemical substance that its color is blue. If you have any simple sugar like glucose, fructose, it will be changed into orange color, like this photo here. Okay, but if we don't have, it's not a change. Also we have another one that we can use it, another indicator that we can use it for starch. So we have one indicator which is called Bendix reagent for simple sugar, and we have the second indicator which is called iodine, and its color is orange. If we have iodine solution, and they want to detect on the starch, like they found in the plant, the leaves of the plant, so here the color of the orange, it will change into dark blue to detect the presence of starch. Here we have finished the first lesson here, carbohydrates. Good luck, and I will see you soon, inshallah. Bye bye.